Hey everyone, welcome to another NMP webinar. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Thursday. Hopefully it's beautiful wherever you are. I'm super excited to have actually today's presentation. So listen, first off, always great to hang out with my buddy Alex. Alex from Sales Boomerang, been touring the country and now actually touring it virtually, just doing his thing. Actually, he just stepped off the stage from another event to come actually here and join us. Alex, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Always enjoy hanging out with you, Andrew.
And because of Alex gives us access to some unbelievable people. And man, today is no exception. So today we have none other than Andy Mack's chief of production. Did I say that right?
Good enough.
Okay. Fantastic. So Andy Mack's chief of production, Ryan Kube, and I appreciate you joining us. You know, it's funny, Ryan, I've had actually conversations about you, about your history. We have a mutual friend that we talked about actually how you helped her actually just kind of, get her career started, and about how you've had unbelievable, what other people might feel like is blind faith actually in people. But you just have an unbelievable, uncanny ability to recognize talent, but recognizing the talent isn't the only thing. It's because once you recognize them, you got to keep them. So once you bring them on board, and that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to talk about actually how Ryan and Andy Mack, so it's not just Ryan, he's got a team of people behind him, but do what they need to do to kind of retain the best talent. So they get him in. Ryan finds actually these people, well, the whole team of people at Andy Mack finds the right people, and then there's a lot of support that they do to make sure that these originators are happy and excited, and using the technology that's given to them, using the tools that are given to them. So listen, I want to get started here with a poll, and then we're going to go to talk a little bit about actually, Sales Boomerang, get into our presentation. But we're going to kick this off with a poll here. So I'm curious from everyone that's joining us here, because a lot of this is focusing that we're going to talk about today is going to talk about borrower intelligence. So I want to know, actually, if you're on the line, have you heard of borrower intelligence? Is this something that some of you maybe are using? So just tell us if you've heard of borrower intelligence. And by the way, if you have heard of borrower intelligence, and if you use it in any creative ways, we want to hear about it too. Tell us in the question box, what you're doing with borrower intelligence. We would love to hear it. So please tell us right now if you have heard of the concept of borrower intelligence. So we're at 41%. I'm gonna wait to get to 50%. So just everyone, if you could please vote now. And we're almost at 50%, almost at 50%. We keep this open for another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. We're gonna launch this, and I'm gonna share the results.
Beautiful.
And there we go. So 71% actually are going to be hearing about borrower intelligence for the first time, which is an exciting thing. And I think actually, we have two borrower intelligence ninjas with us today to kind of talk about borrower intelligence. So Ashley says the poll didn't show for you. I'm sorry, Ashley. Hopefully it'll work. It's working for everyone else, and hopefully the next poll will work. And listen, before we get started, let's make sure everyone takes their phone, puts it into silent mode. I'm doing that myself. But if you know actually NMP webinars, we have you in and out inside of an hour. So please, put your phone on silence, shut your watch off, do whatever you need to do. Close down Outlook, close down Encompass, Calyx, whatever browser tabs you have open. Shut everything down. Just give us 60 minutes of your time. I promise you're going to give you some great value. And with that being said, to kick off the value smorgasbord, I'm going to turn this over to Alex. Alex, you ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
Bam.
Ready to go. All right, so let's do this. Show this window. Let's get this into full presenter mode. And we're rocking and rolling. Here we go. First, so Andrew did a great introduction. Andrew, thank you so much. For those of you that don't know what borrower intelligence is, I think the very first section here will explain that. So here at Sales Boomerang, our mission is no borrower left behind, and we are the first automated borrower intelligence system for the entire industry. And so what does that mean, right? In the simplest form, borrower intelligence is letting you know, right? We tell you, we tell lenders, we tell Ryan, and Ryan was going to talk about that in just a second, when someone in your database is now ready for a loan, okay? It's about identifying the right people to call for the right reasons, and those right reasons are typically best for that borrower and not just a reason for someone to hit a quota, right? So no borrower left behind is making sure that everyone in your database is being taken care of and being given the love that they need so that they can be your customer and you know, expect you to be there for them just as much as you expect them to use you again for a loan. And so, you know, we know that on average, a consumer will have 11 mortgage-related transactions in their lifetime, right? In their lifetime, in using organizations like yourself, like Annie Mac. So you want to be there for all of them. If you met them on the first transaction, you want to get the next 10. If you met them on the 5th, you want to get the next 6. And that's what borrower intelligence is about, identifying those things. And instead of spamming your borrowers and your customers just so they don't forget you, you make yourself unforgettable by giving them this sort of treatment, this sort of value add, by knowing that these things will happen and addressing that with your borrowers at the moment that you get to work with them, right? Instead of hoping they come back to you. So that is what borrower intelligence is. Wanted to make sure that you guys are all now in tune with what that is. You're going to learn a lot more in just a moment. And we're going to be going over these things. I don't know if Andrew, if you want to just go over this or not, but this is the agenda. And yeah, Andrew's going to be leading the charge and asking the questions in this agenda. However, just know, guys, when Ryan and I start talking, we sometimes can dive so deep into a topic, which is why I know what you guys are going to be expecting. So we may not go through all these questions, okay? We may really dive into something and unpack it. And you know what's going to help drive this too is your participation. You leaving comments, right? You leaving ideas. Let us know you're there. Give us some thoughts. If you want us to dig deeper, keep asking some questions when we're on a certain topic, and we can continue to dig in. Otherwise, you know, we'll take it down the path that we wish to take it, and then we'll move on to the next question. So, Andrew, if you don't mind, before we start asking questions, I actually want to highlight something about Ryan and his team and their success with Sales Boomerang. Can I do that real quick?
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, so let's all sort of celebrate this. Ryan, you and your team, since you've been working with Sales Boomerang, a 1,200% ROI on you know, for every dollar you spend, this is your return on investment. I can see that stack climbing to the clouds. Could you talk to us about some real examples of success with Sales Boomerang and how you guys get to that 1,200%?
Yeah, Alex, I mean, our partnership has been awesome. I mean, it's been a game changer, you know, for sure. And anyone not using bar intelligence, you know, being able to get to, you know, the bar before they even know, you know, they're ready for a loan. It's all about, you know, those 11 loans. You know, if you talk to any top performer around the country, they'll tell you that 65% of their ongoing business is from their database. And I believe, you know, with Sales Boomerang, that number is even higher if they have Sales Boomerang. And as Alex said, no bar left behind. If you're doing that first loan and that second loan, I mean, that third, fourth, all the way up to that 11th is so important. So, you know, working the database, having the bar intelligence, the tools are super important. But it's a great question you asked. I got a text from one of our top performers yesterday, and it said, hey, Ryan, pipeline's at an all-time high, 65 loans, you know, having a great month. Obviously, the market and rates have something to do with it, but I can count 20 loans in my pipeline is because of, you know, the marketing and tech and Sales Boomerang. So you're talking about 65 loans, 20 loans, you know, from what we're doing. It was just awesome, you know, to see big numbers.
That's amazing. So basically 30% of this person's business is coming from borrower intelligence notifications. That's amazing. Any other cool, like tangible stories that, because look, we want people to be able to sink their teeth into this information, and that alone right there should be plenty enough to go, okay, if we haven't looked at borrower intelligence as a whole, Yes, of course, Sales Boomerang, that's what we do. But if not Sales Boomerang, just for yourselves, everyone that's listening, so important to get a grip on this data. So what other good tangible stories before we dive into some other questions that you can share?
Tons of examples. I mean, we have automated Sales Boomerang, which we'll go into a little bit later, Alex, as you know, but, creating more time for our loan officers to really focus on continuing to build their realtor relationships while still bringing in business. I hear it all the time. Sales Boomerang is like having a virtual assistant. I'm getting leads of people that I don't even know who they are. It's amazing, just to get, the texts and emails from our salespeople on the successes that they're having every single day.
I love it. That's fantastic. Thank you. And so look, we wanted to show you guys what that 1200% ROI really means and put some tangible stories around it and success stories. And it's the first time I'm hearing that text, so that's awesome. And we've had conversations about what we're going to talk about today, and that was not even something we discussed. So that's amazing. Yeah. That's a very timely text that you got. So let's jump into this. And I know Andrew, you're gonna sort of take the agenda questions from here, and I'll support with some other follow-up questions.
Fantastic. So Ryan, tell us, how important is it to retain and recruit LOs? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh, very important. Our goal at AnnieMac is to do as much business with as few people as possible, right? We want, our focus, especially over the last few years, is to hire the right people. We have a lot of tools to do that, and then, create their business plan, their goals, and support them to hit those, goals. And when you're able to have the right people that want to grow, and everybody says they want to grow, but do they really? Are they putting in the effort? Is there a plan in place, that they can follow? That's the most important piece, hiring the right people. And once you have those people on board, when they are doubling their business, tripling their business, they're super happy, right? And we have spent a lot of time over the last couple of years making sure right people are on board and that their business is increasing. It's expensive. Listen, it's expensive to hire, and what I have found is your lower producing loan officers, depending on how long they've been in the business, if they're doing 2 loans a month and they've been in the business for 10 years, they're probably always going to do 2 loans a month. But not to say we don't take chances. We have several of our President's Club, winners that have started as loan officer assistants, and 2 years later are part of the President's Club. So identifying those right people are key, and making sure the plan is in place. And I would say it's not only a cost, to lose loan officers, and that opportunity costs. You find that those doing less business are normally the ones that rely on that paycheck, stressing operations, clogging pipelines, taking a lot of our marketing and support time as well.
Yeah. So listen, you guys have an issue out there because everyone's trying to steal your LOs. Let's call it, you have some of the best actually in the industry working for you, and they stay with you. So that has got to be just unbelievable pressure. And I know we're going to talk about how expensive it is actually to kind of retain those, because you're always having to improve and step up actually your tech stack and the systems you guys have in place. It's not easy, that's for sure.
And look, let me just add to this too. Like, everyone on this call is here because you are doubling your LO's business, and you're using that for retaining them, and you're using that statistic to recruit the best. And now everyone on the phone just heard something even more amazing. An LOA went from being an LOA to being a President's Club winner in 2 years. Now that's remarkable for me. Like, that's something I've never heard from anyone. And I think this is important to dive in, is like, how do you take someone that's not even producing, that's an assistant, and make them a producer to the point that they become, how do you identify that kind of talent, and what do you do to support the loan officer that's got that LO assistant?
Yeah, we have a great group of leaders, at AnnieMac. So, blessed there. We have a great operational and support team. It doesn't, without that operational and support team, that allows our loan officers to focus on sales and not their loans in the pipeline. That's key. So, I would say that's, one of the best things that we have at AnnieMac. But, sitting down with your loan officers, understanding, their goals and the support that they need to accomplish those, those goals is what we, do. And, having the right people on board that want to grow, is part of that hiring piece, that I was mentioning, that we're really focused on. And, with the support and the tools that we have in place and the desire to grow, it's almost impossible not to. I mean, they're getting so many more at bats, here, and branding themselves, out there in their communities.
So I think that's an important takeaway. Wouldn't you agree, Andrew, that the desire to want to grow is the type of person you attract? Because if they want to grow, you'll help them double their business. If they don't want to grow, they're probably not a good fit for you in general, because you guys are a model. AnnieMac is a model of support and grow the team, not hire this way, not just have bodies in the building, but instead train them, go deep with every single one of your loan officers and loan officer assistants to grow them and their desires individually, rather than saying, hey, if we want to grow production, we need to hire another 100 loan officers. You're saying the other way around. And that probably has to do with some of the cost that comes with hiring new talent that may not work out, where it sounds like you're investing in people and they're seeing the success, which you're winning on both ends. You're burning the success candle on both ends. We're retaining better talent and recruiting better talent, which means the cost of bringing them on and losing them for some reason is not as in much of an issue for you than it is of what we hear from a lot of other groups in the lending industry. Andrew, would you agree? That seems like a really important part of AnnieMac's success.
But 100%, 100%. But by the way, I'm sorry. I just threw up in my mouth from looking at this number. Like, this is insane. I apologize. I don't mean to but like, this is ridiculous. I apologize for getting such, but $27,000. Like, Brian, let me ask you a question. So, talking about the high cost of turnover, I got to know actually. So if you hire an originator, I want to know actually, what do you do, like, in their first year to get them stand up? So get them actually so that they're ready, actually, and fully supported. I want to know actually, what's it, because this is expensive. Tell us about, the training, the software, the technology. Break down a little bit of some of the things that if I get hired today as an MLO for AnnieMac, and I said, yes, let's do it, get me my business cards. What investments are you making in me as an originator to make sure that I'm going to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we do, is finding the right candidate comes before they're hired. But once they come on board, our marketing technology is automated. It's more of a set it and forget it, type system that we have. But we have a training, of course, when they come on board, and then we go out and brand our loan officers. I mean, we are producing leads for them, as that example that I showed through technology like Sales Boomerang and automating that. We are prospecting realtors, in their name for them, trying to create some inbound calls from realtors. It's, business planning with them, understanding their goals, and not just putting that business plan in a drawer, to take out 12 months later. That's followed up with, with their manager. I look at our leadership at AnnieMac. It is, more of a support leadership than a managerial, a leadership. We don't necessarily come out with, a number each year and say, each loan officer, we want you to grow by 20%. That's just not how we do business. You can't paint everybody with the same brush. They may have some personal things going on this year and decide they don't want to grow, and that's fine. But I can tell you that if we, can support and accomplish every loan officer's business plan and their goals, it's a win-win all the way around.
Wow.
Expensive. It's expensive. It's to know actually the branding that you're doing to the real estate agents, the support you guys are doing just to get them known and branded in their local marketplace, and the technology investment that you guys are doing. As a matter of fact, listen, we just got a question from James McDonald. He asked, what loan processing system are you using to handle the volume? I don't know if you want to share that. You want to talk specifically about some of your specific tech stack. Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah. I mean, we our loan origination system is Encompass, a very popular one out there, and we have a amazing IT group that has added their bells and whistles to make the system as smooth and easy as possible. Our CRM, MIQ, we have done a lot of work with them to customize it the way that we want to do business. And when I say automate, Sales Boomerang obviously provides us with tons of data, right? And we took it a step further, and we take that data and reach out to those borrowers via text, email, voicemail, letting them know it's time. So not just relying on the loan officer to have to make that outbound call, work off of a list. They are getting those clients, actually schedule an appointment right in their calendar. So automating it from, from that standpoint, and we do that with prospecting realtors and a lot of the other marketing, that we have in place as well.
That was awesome.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and I know, Andrew, we're getting ready to do another poll question in just a second. So right before we ask that question, I want everyone to kind of, and maybe you've already done this math, where the beauty of what Ryan is talking about properly retaining is that 27,000 seems like a large number, but you go, oh, okay, we can swallow that, we can figure that out. But when you multiply that number times 100, and it turns into 2.7 million, and all of a sudden those 100 don't all turn out and work out and don't pay back, that's when that cost becomes really unbearable, and that's where profitability for lending institutions becomes so important, and why we're having this conversation of doubling your loan officer's production so that you can take them from being an LOA to being a President's Club winner, so that you don't have to waste this $27,000, that $27,000 invested turns into a high return for you because you've properly taken care of the people that you've recruited and, of course, retained. And so I just wanted to, when I first look at this number, yes, like Andrew, it makes me sick. But then I go, okay, well, look, deals are really, if I do a few big deals, as you see, average monthly volume for a loan officer is 700,000. Okay, if I can get them doing that, then no problem. It pays for itself. But that's if you can get them to do it. That's the thing. If you can't, then you throw away 27,000, throw away 27,000, throw away 27,000. And if your mission or vision or business model is grow this way, just hire as many heads, then you're possibly not taking advantage of all the efficiencies you get with growth with existing teams if you think you can only grow with outside teams. So I thought I'd make that example and make sure that people understood.
Yeah, great point, Alex. But I would even say that number's probably more. I see this is from the Department of Labor, but think about the internal resources, your trainers and everyone else that is involved in that higher success that doesn't work out. So you're talking about opportunity costs, not in these numbers, that are much higher than that. If you're having to give that person a guarantee, as they're building up their business, that number's not in there. So it's probably much higher than that, but 27 is a large number, to begin with. So hiring the right people, with that right mindset is extremely important.
Absolutely. Hiring them, then retaining them and keeping them and making sure they're not going anywhere else, which is a great transition to our next question, our next poll question. Andrew, if you want to throw that in before I change the slide.
There it goes. All right, everyone. So do you currently have any automation? Do you do any automation currently? Sorry about that. So do you do any automation currently? Talk to us a little bit about it. Tell us actually if you have any comments that you want to share, use the question box, but let us know, yes or no, do you do any automation currently? So tell us. We've got actually already about 35% of the room has already voted. Keep those votes coming in. If you've already been distracted and gone back to that loan and you started working again, get your butt back here and give us. We got another 35 minutes and promise we're going to give you some more gems like they're going to help you with your business. So we got about 40% of the room voted. We're going to keep this open for another 50%. Another 5 seconds. Yes.
If nothing else, you can run telethons, man. You're brilliant. We got another 5 minutes to raise this money. Perfect.
Fantastic. Andrew's Kids, maybe I could start Andrew's Kids telethon Labor Day weekend.
I like it. I like it. I support it. I would totally support that.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to close this out. Wow, this is pretty cool. We've got a nice little split there. We got 50%, 50%. Wow. We got yep. Very cool. That is awesome. So, and I'm sorry, Ashley is still not able to vote, but I apologize.
Well, text in her vote. Would have been a yes or a no.
Yeah, please tell us. Yeah, you tell us in that question box, Ashley. Are you using automation? And tell us a little bit about it. We got James says he's using very little. We'd love to hear from you, Ashley. But we've got actually 50% of the room actually is currently using, and I would guess that number is probably even lower because the people actually that aren't using it, in many cases they're embarrassed that they're not using it. They know actually they should be. And Ashley gave us a yes. All caps, exclamation point. So yeah, she gets it. She totally gets it. She's in the know. She probably actually is one of those people that understood what borrow intelligence is too. So yeah.
It amazes me that not more people are using some type of automation to help them increase their business, to build it. I mean, there's only a certain amount of hours in a day, right? And as a sales leader, I want my, loan officers spending as much time belly to belly, face to face or on the phone in today's world, with their referral partners or future referral partners. That's how they grow their business. And, we are a purchase organization, obviously taking advantage of the, low rate environment and the refis that we have. Automation, allows you to be able to, do more business, by creating more efficiencies in your workflow and your day.
Look,
and not working 14-hour days, either.
Yeah.
Bottom line, and I know Andrew, you're about to jump into this question, but bottom line of what Ryan just said, that's the only way you're going to help double your team's production is by automation. Like that is a sure. If there's nothing else that you walk away from this, from what Ryan just said, like if you walk away from this, you have to go do something else or something happens. If you are one of the people that said, no, we're not using automation, just listen to, if you dissect what Ryan just said, that alone is going to help you retain. And more of your producers than almost anything else is by giving them their time back. Because right now they got to manually do things. And if you don't automate, you're going to always expect them to manually do things. And with Ryan's statement there, which was brilliant, that step alone, it blows his mind that more people aren't doing it. Start doing it, like automation. Find things to automate all the time.
Yeah, and listen, and maybe you want to work actually 14 hours a day, but work 14 hours a day smart. Don't work it on things actually that can be automated. There's no reason actually that anyone should be doing anything that a computer can do for them. There's no reason. I mean, there's no reason anyone should be doing a loan officer assistant should be doing, but that's a whole nother conversation. You've got tools and technology that can automate the process. So next question, what do LOs care about? Obviously, you've figured out what they care about because they're sticking with you guys and they're doing unbelievable production. Ryan, tell us, in your mind, what do the originators or what do the LOs care about?
Yeah, I mean, these are all good ones. I think, probably first and foremost, that their, loans are closing and funding on time, right? That's important. If you have to manage your pipeline, your operations, then it's very difficult to grow your business. But I think, they want to be recognized, they want to make money, they want to hit their business plan, they want to see growth, they want to feel appreciated, feel good, a good culture, strong leadership. They want to be able to, be involved in, some decisions, at least some of them do, and that's super important when you're looking at new tools and tech. I mean, without their input, as a leader, it would be a fool's errand just to roll something out, without understanding, is it going to be used? How can I automate this so it's a set and forget it type tool working in the background for, for them. They want as much time, as much efficiencies as possible to spend time with their referral partners to grow their business.
And real quick question for you, Ryan. I think you had mentioned this in some of our previous conversations. Your time to close a deal, right, in underwriting processing, you guys have like record times, right? That your turnaround to close the deal and get the deal done is because that's one of the things you mentioned is number one, hey, they really care that their deals will get done timely. Share with everyone, like you guys are on top of it. How quickly do you guys get a deal done now? Like, what's the turnaround?
Yeah. It's so important, and it's when looking at our competition and us, even during this increase of business. I mean, over the last four years, our turn times have been consistent. We've been fortunate, to be able to hire before the production. In this case, sometimes you can't see the production coming, but having that bullpen of people, having a great leadership and ops and support, to help. I mean, having a lot of tech in that area to create efficiencies, has been super important, for sure. But when I'm seeing, competitors, underwriting turn times at 10, 12 days, I just could not imagine being in that position. So being forward thinking, hiring great operational people that understand who their customers are. It's not another loan, right? It's a borrower, it's a referral partner, it's an internal customer relationship. Everybody who touches that, that file. So something that we've done really well over the years is making sure that everyone understands, who their customers are internally and external, and how important what we are doing, especially today, and the impact that we can have on so many lives, day after day, month after month, and keeping that forefront. We have operational people that will work those extra hours with a smile on their face, because they understand how important their roles are.
I think you just said something that is important to highlight. And as we mentioned, hey, we have lots of questions, but we may get into one topic that makes a lot of sense to unpack. Let us know, by the way, in the chat if you guys are liking how we're digging into things. But here's something you said that I think is so important to highlight. And again, this is the reason why you retain so many people. You ready? If anyone missed this, this is exactly what Ryan just said. He said, it's not just another loan. It's not just another loan. It's a borrower, it's a referral partner, it's a customer, it's a loan officer, it's a processor. It's not just another loan, because this deal touches everyone in the company and outside the company. And so people are willing to stay longer and smile because you've ingrained in them, Ryan, that it's not just another deal, that this is why we exist. So don't look at this as just another deal, and don't let 10, 12 days go by. Instead, do it in a third of the time, because it's not just another deal, and there's a referral partner that's waiting for this to get done. There's a customer waiting for this to get done. There's an underwriter, processor, loan officer, everyone. So don't drag our feet. Don't think about this as just another piece of paper that you're pushing, and really care. And I think honestly that belief is another big reason why I think you guys retain so many people and are so driven to double their business, which is a great transition to the next slide. But I just wanted to make sure I call that out because I think that is so valuable. Because I don't know, you guys are listening to this, how many people on your team look at a loan as it's just another loan, right? It's just another loan. It's okay. We'll just get this one done. We look forward. We don't look backwards. We don't look around. We're gonna look forward to the next one because it's just another loan. And so think about that. If you don't want to chime in, you don't want to answer, think about your team, look at your team, and what is the mentality of your team? Are you just doing loans? Or are you thinking about your referral partners? Are you thinking about all the things you see on this list and considering all of those things as what your LOs care about, and then making sure to give them that and even more, right? And that's the success that Ryan and the AndyMac team have experienced. So I don't know if you want to comment on that or not, but I thought that was so brilliant and such, like, you threw that in there, but to me, that's part of the big success that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of number 1 and 2 on this list here. You know, it starts from the top. Our CEO, Joe Pinabanco. You know, it's our culture. You know, it is what we believe in. You know, we are changing lives, you know, for the better. We are having a positive impact on the economy. You know, during this time when you can save somebody $400 a month on a refinance, you know, that they can, you know, use that additional money, you know, to go support their local businesses. It's a huge impact, and that's what we talk about, and that's where our mindset is.
Yeah, that's now, great. Alice, you go. I don't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. You go. What I was going to say real quick, Andrew, is there's a slide about how do you recruit and retain. I think that Ryan has done such a good job already saying those things. It's a really cool slide, which is why I stopped here. But I think I think there's a better question that I think people may want to hear. Now, if you guys want to see us Ryan answer this question, you know, put some things in chat. But I think this next one.
I want to make a comment about this because I think the last one and the last slide in this one are interconnected. It's because actually the ability for an organization to understand, you know, what loan originators care about and listen to them is what allows actually is how they retain and recruit. And so, and Ryan, talk to a little bit about actually the processes that you have internally at AndyMac to listen to the originators on an ongoing basis. So it's not just saying, hey, we got this great CRM that you're going to love and ram it down their throat, but you actually have dialogue with the originators on an ongoing basis. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, when it comes to, you know, I look at everybody that we hire. If I can squeeze one thing, you know, out of them that's positive that we are doing, that's going to make the organization, you know, better. So, you know, we spend time with our people and the, you know, the roles that they are accomplishing, you know, to try to create efficiencies, to try to learn, try to get better. We are not perfect, you know, we are not a perfect organization, but we do listen. You know, as Alex can probably tell you, you know, we vet any new you know, partner like Sales Boomerang very hard, you know, and make sure that it's not just a shiny object. We don't want a shiny object. We want, you know, something that is going to help grow business, help create efficiencies. We have a leadership advisory council that, you know, is part of any rollout prior to, you know, just a rollout of a new partner or product. They're involved in that decision making. Those, you know, those people are made up of salespeople, you know, and sales leaders throughout the organization. We do a lot of focus groups, you know, and really, you know, ask questions and get, you know, the advice, you know, from the people that are doing the job.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, if I may, I want to jump into a question that I think everyone really came here to hear. Okay, and that is, how do you actually double the business of your loan officers? And before you answer that question, I have a story to tell, because as Ryan mentioned, okay, that they vet their partners very carefully, and I can tell you right now, they do. but they vet their partners with purpose. They're not just vetting, just because that's part of the process. They have a real purpose to understand exactly how this will fit into their business because they have this goal that you see on screen. They want to double the production for their existing teams. Think about that. That's an amazing goal. And so everything you're going to do is try to make that happen, which is why that list, culture, people, right, is in existence for AnyMac. Is because all of those things help with doubling the technology, the efficiencies, the automation. So here's the story, right? We were being vet we went through this process, and there was a lot of excitement, and there was a goal that was set by Larry Messino that's on your team, Ryan, where he told me this, like probably sometime last year. This is after a year of being with you guys. He said, hey, I don't know if you know this, but we had a goal for you. We said we needed to hit a certain number of opportunities within 12 months for us to make sense of this investment. Well, he said to me, you want to double your team's business, but he said to me, he's like, Alex, you don't know this, but with your system, we were able to hit that goal in 3 months. So AnyMac set a goal with their partner, us, to reach a certain number of opportunities within 12 months. We got there within 3 months, and then you all completely dumped everything possible into supporting this platform. Once you realized its capabilities, you customized your CRM, you changed training, your recruitment changed, like the messaging you use, and all of a sudden you're able to accomplish this goal of doubling your business with a little bit more ease. But I wanted to share that story that we were literally on a chopping block if we didn't hit a goal, and the way that you guys track those things. You're not just saying, I hope this happens, walk away, and then some point you'll hear people saying, I like it, I don't like it. No, you guys scientifically, surgically set a goal, tracked it, saw that it happened in 3 months, didn't wait for 12 months. Right, that's the other takeaway, everyone. They did not wait for 12 months. They saw the results in 3 and said, why wait? Let's double down now and get this more of an impact for everyone with more automation, more frictionless engagement with our team. And so I wanted to share that story again, giving you guys a big applause for the way you do things. But let's go ahead and answer this amazing question. And I know, Andrew, I stole your thunder here because this is the question you were going to ask. How do you help your loan officers double their business? You've mentioned a lot, but let's get into the dirty details.
Yeah, I wish it was a one sentence answer, but it's not. But I will give you some color around it. It's about one, hiring the right person. It's about creating, the business plan of the goals that they want to achieve and how we're going to support that. And each person is different, so that business plan has to really be focused, on them, their passions, what they enjoy doing. That's super important. Having a great support and operational staff is key. So their focus can be on growth of their sales, creating more hours during their day. Automating so many things, finding great partners like Sales Boomerang has been a game changer. An LO without automation, without data intelligence, maybe they're calling off lists and spreadsheets and, wasting hours and hours of a day to try to get in, some business instead of waking up and seeing that a customer has scheduled an appointment with them in their calendar at 3:30 today. That's a much more effective way to do business, is to have, applications in your calendar instead of doing the chase. So we everything that we do, that, we try to automate and create additional days, additional hours, because back to my point earlier, we want our loan officers with their referral partners or talking to new referral partners as many hours of the day as possible. So with that in mind, everything that we do, that's at the top of mind. And depending on where they are in their business, making sure that they have additional team members, loan partners or loan officer, assistants, to take some of the what I would say non-highest and best use of their time out of their day as well. So it's about marketing, automation, building a team around them, which, we do things like personality tests for those loan officer assistants. We have training and understanding what tasks they should be doing versus the loan officers.
Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about that personality test? Because I'm curious, actually, what do you use for the personality test, and what are you testing? Like, what is actually the personality traits that you want to, and when do you see a personality trait say this guy is never going to be a successful originator?
Well, a loan officer assistants, they can do more sales roles, they can do more operational roles, depending on if it's your first assistant, second, and tasks that they're doing. So we want to make sure, that through those tests we can identify, the lane, I guess you could say, that they're most comfortable in, where things that drive them, tasks that drive them, that excite them, because that's where we want to put them. That's where you have an engaged employee and someone that is, feeling good at every day instead of them doing tasks that they don't enjoy. That is an employee that probably doesn't stay around very long if you have them doing work that they just don't like doing. As far as, there's a lot of tests out there. We've, used PI, which is a predictive index test, and also DISC is a very popular one in our organization as well.
That's fantastic. And is this something that, did you have this as like something that's been in the organization for a while, or is it something like you kind of like you instinctually would be able to pick up actually on an originator having those personality traits, and then realized actually that, hey, these same things match up with the DISC score? How did you start to realize that you should use models like this to know whether these people are going to be good matches and what lane they should be in?
Well, you saw that 27,000 number earlier. Yeah, so that's a big reason, for sure. But understanding how important every hire is, because of the cost, and retaining, that person, even if you do make the hire, is key. And those personality tests are just an additional, piece of the hiring process. I would say from an accuracy standpoint, I find them very, very accurate, probably close to 90%, but it is just a tool, right? You have to go through your references and your interview and understand, if that person was to look out 3 to 5 years, where do they see, themselves? And if you are, I have found that most loan officer assistants, have other aspirations. So if you can business plan with them and help them achieve that next step, whether it is into operations or it is into sales, then you have a lot of success there.
Awesome.
So Ryan, amazing. Honestly, if I'm sitting on the call right now and I'm a leader of a team, I am taking some serious notes right now, and I'm coming back to my team with some really interesting new strategies that I've just picked up. So that's amazing. And so here's a chance for us to kind of dive in to how things work. Okay. So this is a little bit of a view of what happens with and without intelligence and automation. Okay. So for instance, okay, all of you that said you don't have automation, and all of you that said they don't know what borrower intelligence is, this is what is probably happening inside your organization today. Okay. In 2010, this is a model. It's a linear model, like this is a timeline. In 2010, you probably did a deal for someone where somebody bought a house. Maybe you got a referral from a realtor, or you bought a lead. Whatever the scenario is, you do someone's loan in 2010, and now they have a home. And then this is what probably happens moving forward. You don't know when, why, where, or how to engage with these people, and so you lose the next 4 opportunities, right? They are going to refi sometime in 2013, and a big bank is going to get that business because they're over marketing compared to what you're doing. Then in their 8th year of the home, they're ready to do a purchase and ready to move to another property, right? So you lose that one because you lost the previous one. And then of course, if you're in 2020 and rates are where they are, you've lost that one too. So guess what? In this model with no automation, no intelligence, you got one deal. You can't double your LO's production, right? It's very hard. It's a lot of manual labor. It's a lot of forced work to figure out how to get my production up. I got to find that one every single time. I got to find that one because I got to find that one over and over and over and over again. And what happens is, statistically speaking, and Ryan talked about this earlier, right? So we're going to flip the stat in just a second. So here's what the stat reads. 85% of your active borrowers will leave you every single year. This is based on the stat from Black Knight that said 15% of your borrowers, active borrowers, will retain, meaning 15% of your active borrowers will come back to you for the loan. 85% of them are going to leave you every single year, which is what this model demonstrates, right? You've lost all those people, all those opportunities without knowing what's going on. Here's what the model looks like when you have intelligence, when you have the training, when you have the setup, when you have the automation, right? This is what happens. Every event that comes up, you know is happening, and you have already prepped your borrowers for the conversation, right? You know this is happening. You bought the house, you did the deal, you're ready for them in a few years to do the refinance. You've been notified on what's happening with their rates, with their equity, with their credit, with what's happening in their life, if they're having kids or getting married or things. You have all of this information. You're aware that they're probably going to be best suited for something that happens in 2013. So guess what? Those big banks and all their marketing, they have to wait for somebody to react to it. You are the one getting in front of your customer beforehand. Then you win the second, you win the third, you win the fourth. You want to know how you double people's business? This is how. This is how. You need automation, you need intelligence, you need a team, you need purpose, you need to check if the people you're hiring are a good fit for your company by doing the tests that Ryan was talking about, which then leads you to what, right? We're moving into the how this happens. So you go from not knowing when to contact people and for what reason to then here's another great stat. 79% of borrowers will go with the first lender they speak with. So you want to be the first. In all of these instances, you want to be the first to get that 79% chance. And that's what automation, right? If you're manually making me do something, all the 50% of you that said manually you're still doing things, you're taking away the chance of being first, okay? Then you're in that 21% range where you have to fight for that business. Whereas if you can be first, right, you can have a chance. And it's not speed to lead. It's even before that. How do I get to my borrower and let them know that I'm there for them before they even start the shopping experience, right? You have things to prevent them when they go shopping, but how do you get there, right? And so what is the goal? The goal is to be the first to present a better loan option to your borrower 100% of the time. Be there first 100% of the time. Give your team the resources, the tools, the automation, the intelligence that they need so that they can be first, right? Because as this slide shows, and we have a great question that Andrew can ask here in a second, is there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Look at the customer journey. I know there's a lot on the slide, but just understand the top section is the customer journey, right? From listing their home for sale, right, to determining budgets and location searching, and then it begins over all these things. And below is the technologies involved with being there for your customer for the right time. So, Andrew, I don't know if you want to ask it, if you want me to just flow into this question for Ryan.
Yep. So yeah, how important is technology? How important is technology? And I have we got a question from the audience I want to ask after this, but talk about actually how important is technology to do this?
It's so important. I mean, as Alex just showed, I mean, if you do a customer's first loan and you don't do that second, you're missing out on 10 transactions. Do the math. I mean, how many, if you're a loan officer out there, how many basis points you get paid, but you're missing out on 10 transactions. Many loan officers and companies need to get away from the fact that it's a transactional business, because it's not. Your borrowers, you should think of them as your referral partners. And if you do, not only are you going to get all 11 of those transactions, you're going to get a lot of referrals, from them as well, which is just going to grow your database. And the bigger your database, the bigger your paychecks, the more loans you're going to, close for sure. And in this environment, today that we're in, you know, you have an opportunity to really grow your database and take advantage, you know, of the time of a low interest rate and a lot of people needing to refinance.
So Ryan, can I ask you, is technology more important to recruit and retain than compensation?
Great question.
Well, they tie in together so much, and you know, if those that haven't been able to feel the positive effects of automation and technology, intelligence, you know, they would probably say compensation. But those are, you know, those people that have seen the positive effects of those things would clearly identify technology and intelligence to their growth in business and their paychecks.
And to add to that, right, and to quantify that, if technology and automation can double your production, but you make, you know, I don't know, 10 basis points or 20 basis points less, right? Then it's, you know, if I make 100 basis points at this company, but I only do 10 deals, and I make 80 basis points at this company, but I do 20 deals, come on, do the math. It certainly is the technology. If you're building a business, right, that's based on recruitment and retaining your top producers, then the compensation is something that anyone that wants to steal your business and your loan officers can do it. Think about that. If you are building a team of people that are with you because of your compensation, they're already gone. They're already gone. It's just a matter of time. I just have to call them and tell them I got to pay them more. But if you're calling me and saying, Alex, I'm going to pay you more, you come here, and I go, all right, let's go. And I'm like, what's your tech stack look like? Tech stack? We use Excel spreadsheets, actually. I'm going to go ahead and stay where I am, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate to be able to pay our loan officers very well because of the money that we, you know, are saving and retention and bad hires. So, you know, we take that money, put it back into, you know, the growth of our salespeople, and you know, that's money well spent.
And I'm gonna say, I know we're approaching our last 2 minutes left here, but along the lines of compensation. So someone from the audience asked this: do you find it easier to recruit and retain fellows if you are from a salary plus commission? So talk about that. I mean, is you know, salary plus commission or just commission? You know, what's your strategy on that, and is it based on the particular originator and what lane they've chosen?
Yeah, I mean, as an outside originator that is referral based, it is you know, 100% a commission. We do have you know, an internal group as well, which is more salary and commission on the loan, you know, as well. So we do have a few different models, and we look at what's best, you know, for that individual when bringing them on board.
Sweet, very cool, man. And listen, Brian,
just
unbelievable actually to get into your world. I mean, really, actually, let's call a spade a spade. You know, we would never ever have these conversations and have these opportunities, you know, to talk about these things. People would not share the secrets that Brian shared, you know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I mean, so it's great actually, you know, when you know you've got a good system and you can talk about it and you're confident enough that there's not many people that are going to be able to replicate, if anyone's able to replicate. So you're confident to share it on here, and we really, really appreciate you sharing it. And of course, actually, we know none of this stuff happens, you know, without actually like unbelievable technology like Sales Boomerang and that borrower intelligent piece.
You know, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, we have just such great people at AnnieMax, smart people, you know, great culture, and you know, without, you know, them, all this couldn't happen. Without a partner like Alex, who gets it, you know, we can sit down and talk the talk. And what Alex is doing now with some of the plans that he has in the future, if you're not on board, man, get on board, because it's some amazing stuff, amazing stuff that that no one else is doing. And I'm just happy that we're working, together in a great partnership, Alex. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. I appreciate that. Amazing. Your story is just, it's so inspiring, and what AnnieMac does and the way you do things. And, you are not pretending when you say you care about every person in your company. It is not a lip service. It is literally something you guys live. And so, you know what, you can't replicate that. You have to have your own, will and drive for your business. And so I applaud that so much. So again, thank you for joining us, Ryan, and Andrew. Thank you so much for allowing us to use this platform and share this with everyone.
Love it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Love hanging with you. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. And listen, if you're watching this and you are ready to leave no borrower left behind, get access to your, there you go. Always wearing actually that shirt. Claim that there you go. Loan loss report. It is really insightful when you can see some, oh yes. Oh, that's awesome. When you can see what it means to your organization. So again, everyone, thank you for joining us for another NMP webinar. We really, really appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.
Good weekend, everyone. Thanks so much, Andrew. Bye-bye.
Take care.